Good morning, good morning. It's the Last Minute Laura show. Good morning, good morning. Hello, hi everybody, welcome back, good morning, hi. Hi everybody, welcome back. Come on in, take your shoes off, pull up a chair, all the things, you know, and what, which, and whatnot. How are you doing? Hi. I think I'm going to do a little bit of, I'm going to try anyway, to do a little bit of knitting, see if I can talk and craft at the same time. I feel like I haven't done crafting in forever, so I think that it's a good idea to just do it for practice. Good morning! If you're new here, hello. I am Laura. Oh, I didn't do my eyebrows this morning. I didn't even brush them to make sure they're all going the same way. I'm Laura. We get together Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 a.m. Eastern until around 10 a.m. Eastern, and then I have a vlog that comes out every week as well. In the normal universe of Last Minute Laura, we used to be doing tutorials every week, like crochet and natural dye and that sort of thing. Right now, I am in a season of my life where I'm pretty much obsessed with my garden and my chickens, so crafting has taken a backseat. I'm still doing crafting on the side, like as a hobby, rather than as the all-encompassing thing about my life. Crafting is now a hobby, which is crazy. I never thought that. Look, I can't even talk without using my hands. I'm gotta use my hands for knitting, Laura, not for gesticulating. But anyway, I'm pretty much obsessed with spring and animals and plants right now, so if you are here exclusively for the tutorials that are crochet related, maybe come back in the fall, because that's when I assume I will take up the yarn crafts more heavily again. I'm sure I'll dye some yarn, and I'll be dyeing some fabric this summer, doing some crafty things. It's just not going to be the main intense focal point of the channel. So anyway, though, if you're new, I'm Laura. Like I said, we get here to chat. We get together to chat. It's nice. We've got a good community going. We've got a community Discord for all of the patrons. We've got, there's a Facebook page. I'm on Instagram. But this live stream, we do this 3 times a week. And during the pandemic at the beginning, we used to go like 5 days a week, and we were doing like lots of hours hanging out, just so we wouldn't all go crazy during the beginning of lockdown. But now that we're in a little bit more of a normal time, I'm trying to like make my stream schedule a little more average and normal. So we're doing the morning ones. That way we can get our days started. We can kind of feel productive still after hanging out. And also it's just like a nice way to start your day, I think. So definitely subscribe if you're new. Like the video if you're not new, by the way, friends. I say this 1,000 times during the stream, and I will continue to, because I need to remind people to like the video. Please like the video. Love you. Thank you. Okay, let me see what we've got going on in the chat this morning, so I can say hi to everyone. Good morning, Sid. Nice to see you. Good morning. It's Frida. Good afternoon. Maya. Good morning. Nice to see you. Mary Grace. Hello. Good morning. Nice to see you. Birdie. Hello. Nice to see you. I love reading that name, Birdie. Isn't it just a fun? Because like when you say it, Birdie, you think B-I-R-D, like a little birdie. But when you know, like the name is Bertie, but I say birdie. I don't know. Does anyone else think it's fun to say birdie? That's just me. Maya, what do the wrenches mean beside your name? So Maya, those are mods. People with wrenches can delete the trolls. They can get rid of anybody who comes in here saying crazy stuff. And hi, all the beautiful souls. Hello, Karen. Good morning. Candace, good morning. Nice to see you this morning. And Creative Mommy, good morning. I'm crocheting while we're chatting. Awesome. I'm going to try and knit while we chat. Rebecca, good morning. Nice to see you. And Lebo, good morning as well. AJ, good morning. Sock pair 1 almost done. What are you talking? How? Did you not sleep since we last spoke? That's so fat. I can't even imagine knitting a sock that quickly. I can't even imagine knitting a sock, let's be honest. How are you doing today, Laura and Alex and Pets? Doing well, Dina. Thank you very much. We're expecting a big thunderstorm to come today, so I'm really looking forward to that. Because we've been expecting rain now for like 5 days. They've been saying like rain's coming tomorrow, and then when you wake up in the morning and check the weather, it's like, no, tomorrow. It's tomorrow. And then you open the weather app the next day and it's like, okay, tomorrow, it's coming tomorrow. So today is the day. It might actually already be raining. I thought I just heard rumblings. But we're supposed to get like a big thunderstorm. Hopefully we'll get dumped on with rain. I was trying to explain to Alex that rain is magical and different than watering the garden. Like we can water the garden all day, every day with our hose, but our hose is like sterile water for drinking, right? Like it's got fluoride in it because we're not watering from a well, we're watering from our cistern, which is city water that gets trucked in for us. So it's got like fluoride, and it's been sanitized and bleached and all the things that water needs to for me to feel comfortable drinking it. But plants don't need all that done to it. So it's kind of like dead water as opposed to what plants would like, which is like nature. So I was trying to say to Alex, like, well, there's absorbable micronutrients in rainwater, like minerals and stuff that are actually bioavailable when they come out of the rainwater. And also, when the rain waters the ground, it soaks everything, as opposed to when I'm watering the garden, I'm like pointing it at the things that I want watered. But then the weeds inevitably reach for that water also, right? So then you have weeds that are really strong near your plants. But when it rains, everything gets soaked and everything has the opportunity to just like shove as much new growth out as possible. So in like 2 days here, we're going to end up having to go weed the garden because the rain today will probably make a huge difference on the growth in our garden right now. Our garden is just starting to take off. Like it's so close. It's like the fuse is lit, but it hasn't hit the firecracker yet. It's just like we're halfway there, and I'm quivering in anticipation. The rain is coming. I can hear it. I can hear the rain. Can you hear it on the windows? Maybe? I watched movies and realized I was done Suck 1 and binge-watched She-Ra and was halfway through a foot, woke up at 5 today and realized my short rows. Now I'm done the heel. Jeez Louise, AJ, you are a knitter extraordinaire. I can't even, no. I would end up making too many mistakes. If I tried to knit something in one sitting, like just straight knitting, I would make many mistakes. Honestly though, like I wouldn't even go back and try to fix them though, because knitting is so hard. Good morning, Rebecca. Oh, sorry, Rebecca was here already. Good morning to Dina. Keely, good morning. You should get a water barrel for rainwater. So Frida, we do have one, and it's attached. Okay, so it just needs pipes. There's like the barrel, and then our gutter system is hooked up to like all of it is hooked up to one pipe intentionally, but the space between the pipe and the water barrel has been disconnected. So we just need to get a pipe to get it from the rain barrel to the eaves trough, or to the pipe that the eaves trough drains into. It seems that was what the previous owners did. They had a rain barrel for that. We just don't, it is currently disconnected. It just needs to be reconnected. And that is on Alex's honey-do list, is to get that reset up for me so that we're not wasting water. That being said, the crazy thing to me, hey there, Sadie, good morning. Hey, Dawn, good morning. Yojo, good morning. What are you knitting, Laura? A rectangle. I used to love knitting socks. I must have knitted over 100 pairs, but fell out of love with it. I just haven't quite fallen in love with it yet. Keely, good morning. And Birdie, I'm still playing Yarn Chicken on the sleeves of the Goosebumps hoodie. In the meantime, I've made a tiny That's awesome that you are pushing through it. I'm a little nervous for you because Yarn Chicken is a nervous game to play, but also I wish you the best of luck. What was I trying to say? Yarn. Playing with yarn, no. Plants, weeding. Okay, yeah, our garden is so close to taking off. I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be a couple of days now, and we are going to be looking at just the most magical space. I went and deadheaded all of the flowers again last night so that there would be no nutrient sucking growth that wasn't useful to the plant, because I want my plants to get big and strong and beautiful and covered in flowers. So I went around and I pinched the tops off of every single zinnia, every single Cosmo. Can you imagine how heartbreaking this is? There were a whole bunch of buds that hadn't opened. Like, just the zinnias come up as like one stem with 2 leaves on it, and then 2 new leaves come out of there, and then a stem, and then 2 new leaves come out of there, and then a flower will try to come out right after that. So like 6 leaves into making a plant. The plant is only this tall, and there's a bud to make a flower. If you pinch off that growth point, the plant will grow 2 new stems, and it'll end up being like a wider plant. that has more flowers on it. So that's what I want. But in order to do that, you have to cut off the growth point with a baby flower that hasn't opened yet. It's like very heartbreaking. It was like I went around and carried a basket with me to collect the growth points of the plants rather than just throwing them, because I was like, I felt like, oh, my poor little plants, all of these potential flowers I've just destroyed, but it is going to help. And also I did it before the rain came, so now the rain will like soak the ground, and then the plant won't be working to finish that flower. It'll instead work to put out new stem, new leaf, and new roots. So I feel good about it, but also my feelings. I've just finished my knitted shawl. Next on my list is to try out socks. Sadie, I have to make a shawl. I have Frida's yarn that I've been hoarding like a yarn hoarder. But Frida gave me this beautiful yarn made from her beautiful bunny Ivor, and I want to make some little lacy shawl type thing out of it for my wedding evening. Something that'll just sort of kind of like really little triangle scarf is what I'm thinking. Like bigger than a kerchief, bigger than a bandana, but smaller than like a full shawl. Sorry, I have a sneeze coming. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Oh, anyway, and I haven't decided if I should do a shawl that is knitted or crocheted. And I know knitting uses less yarn than crochet, but I also don't know how to knit a triangle. So Sadie, you made a shawl. Is it a rectangle shawl or a triangle? And knitting a triangle, how does that feel? Is it easy or difficult? Should I knit it or should I crochet it? Dawn, you made me feel good by mentioning me. Well, Dawn, I'm glad, because you had a lot of information I didn't know. So I'm glad that that made you feel good, but it made me feel good to learn a bunch of stuff from you. So thank you for sharing your knowledge. I love that. I love learning new fun facts. Like if you have like things that take up less than a paragraph of space in my hard drive of memory, oh, I love that. I love things that are interesting and one paragraph long. You know what I mean? And Dawn, I feel like you have a whole bunch of that type of information, which is like my favorite kind of information. Howdy doodly, neighbor-rooney. Hey there, V, good morning. Birdie sending healing thoughts, Frida. Oh, what's going on with Frida? I prefer knitting. Well, I prefer crochet, I would say. Sorry, someone asked earlier, what's easier, knitting or crochet? Crochet is easier. Knitting is more, like, I can't say it's more beautiful because crochet can be very, very beautiful, but knitting is more, it looks, what would you say? It's more finicky looking. It looks more finessed. When you look at it, something where someone's knitted it, it's like, I don't know. I feel like for me, how I look at it is when I'm crocheting something, I can just start crocheting like before I actually know what I'm going to make. If I'm knitting something, I can't just be like, well, let me just pick up my knitting needles and see what comes of it. Like I have to know ahead of time what's happening. Whereas with crochet, I can just be like, I don't know what I want to make. I'm going to get started. And it could either be a hat or a full sweater, and it's going to be okay. But with knitting, I feel like I need to know how much yarn I need. I need to know exactly what I'm going to make. Oh gosh, do I even know stitches? I don't know how many to count. I don't, blah, blah. The idea of stitch counting with knitting is overwhelming for me. Frida, Laura, I've had trouble breathing for several days now. It's exhausting. I'm so tired. I have one of those oxygen finger meters. I'm getting enough oxygen. I'm just fighting to get it. That's scary, Frida. Do you have a doctor's appointment booked yet? Or are you tending at home right now? And is that your only symptom? Like, is it allergies, or could you have another thing that you need to deal with? Not deal with, you know what I mean? I'm trying not to use the I don't know why. Can we say COVID now? Anyway, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. That's scary. Do you have a inhaler or anything, or are you just like not moving in order to not have to be panting? Have you done a hot shower or sitting in the room while the hot shower is on? I don't know. That's what the vet used to say about CJ when he had trouble breathing. Not that you're a cat or anything. Yep, that's where my brain goes. It just tries to relate. Triangle, just increase one stitch on one stitch on one side every 2 rows, and then decrease the same to the end. Then decrease the same to the end. Increase 1 on every, only on one side. Okay. So one side's going up straight and the other side is going up increase, yeah. And then you keep going decreasing. Okay, but that means that you have to know where your halfway of your yarn ball is, right? Like, what I'm thinking, here's what I'm thinking. If I did an increase at both ends, like start with only one stitch and then do an increase at both ends every other row, would my triangle get bigger in a nice way? Because then I can not have to worry about how much yarn I have in the beginning. Whereas if I do the corner thing, I've done that before, where you increase at the on one row and keep one row straight, and then you determine at some point you get to a tip, and then decrease the other side. So okay, so Sid, that would work. I have one skein of yarn, so dividing the skein in half, I guess, that would work. So, okay, that's doable then. I could probably remember how I did that. I did that with a purple and blue yarn. I don't know if you guys ever remember that triangle scarf, but that's how I made that scarf, was doing an increase only on one side of the triangle. Start at the point and increase each side. Yes, that would work. The only issue I can foresee with that type, Sid, is that maybe the beginning of the shawl, like the tip, would be ugly. You know what I mean? Like it might not be a perfect point. Like the 2 points you'd end up with, the long points that would end up on the front of your shawl, like here and here, those would be nice and pointy and pretty. But the back of the shawl might not be pretty if that's where I start. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. That's just my theory, looking at it in my head. I did my own pattern, as I can't follow patterns at all. Same. If anyone is lurking, hello, and how are you doing today? Yes, if anyone is lurking, hello, and how are you doing today? Maya, love that. I'm glad. And Frida, I have 2 inhalers that I'm maxed out on, and nasal spray, and an appointment every year. Okay, so it is something. Oh, you've had it all your life. That's scary. So start at the point and increase on each side could work. You guesstimate simple pattern, how much yarn you'll need. You guesstimate. You guess to calculate. Sadie, sorry, that was meant to say once you get to the middle. I found the increase on both sides once a very steep triangle. See, that makes sense as well to me. But what if you did an increase every like 3rd row then to make the triangle less steep? I can see what you mean, like it would almost like curve like Batman shape. I did a shawl like that. I increased at the beginning and at the end. Should I try to find it for you? Birdie, don't bother, because I'm not going to follow a pattern. Like, I appreciate the thought, but the truth is that even if I really want to follow a knitting pattern and I have a knitting pattern, the chances that I'm actually going to ever read a knitting pattern it's really low. Or every other row. Yeah. Well, like I think of like how I do my sleeves, right? I increase every other row 1 increase. If I just do it every other row 1 increase on a shawl, I could see it working. Maybe I might even do every like 2 rows of increases, 1 row of no increase, 2 rows of increases, 1 row of no increase, you know, to get some halfway point. Sorry if your brain cannot compute. To be honest, I'm looking at a picture in my head, so I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know how to make sure that it's coming out how you might see it. Like in my head, the way that I'm explaining it is I'm trying my best to describe a picture in my head. That doesn't mean that I'm describing it accurately. The picture in my head makes sense. How about that? The picture in my head makes sense. I watch tutorials for knitting. Fiber Spider is good. Ooh, that's a good name. Fiber Spider. Oh, knitting. Sorry, I was thinking crochet. Birdie, crochet is a good option, but I want to try and spread the yarn that Frida gave me as far as I can, and for that reason I'm picking knitting. Also, just how cool is this that, okay, here's how, some things that I've been thinking. Frida, you send me this yarn, right? We meet on the internet because I like to talk about crafty things. We start talking on a regular basis because we both like crafty things. You send me yarn from Sweden. You're literally going to be at my wedding. Like, Frida, Ivor is going to be at my wedding. Your handiwork is going to be at my wedding. Alex's ring was made by Frida too. And then I think like V sent me this beautiful chicken fabric, right? But she also sent me these buttons. And I was looking at them this morning. I was gonna put on this specific necklace because I was like, I'm gonna wear jewelry today for the stream. But the dress I'm wearing has blue in it, and the jewelry I wanted to wear was turquoise, and it didn't look good, so I didn't wear it. But then as I was sitting down, I was seeing these buttons that V sent, and I was like, I don't care about traditions very much. Some of them I care about way too much. Like, in my wedding planning, I'm like, I really want to have wedding favors, and I want them to be like seed packets or seed paper or something to do with plants, because that's what I'm obsessed with. And I want to give people who come to the wedding seeds for the flowers that are my wedding garden. So people can be like Laura and Alex's wedding garden. They spread those seeds, and then the next year they have like a reminder of our wedding garden. But anyway, there's certain things that I like don't care about at all. And then there's some things that I'm like, something borrowed, something blue, something old, something new. I want to make my dress. I want everything to have handmade flowers. Like, I have like random my little girl wedding still needs to have certain things in it, whereas my grown-up wedding has removed a lot of things that I don't need. But these buttons, V sent me these buttons. Oh, can you hear that? My voice has that sexy, sick vibe. Anyway, these cute buttons. They're bluish turquoise, and they have like gold on them. And I was thinking like something blue. I don't know. I just like the idea that I have all these ways, like, V, to you, these may have been buttons that you weren't going to use for anything, you know what I mean? But for me, it's a way to include you in my wedding. Like, that's weird and crazy and cool. Like, you guys are going to be here for my wedding. So, you guys are like my honorary bridesmaids, groomsmen, I was going to say water boys, what are they called? Flower girls. You know, all of the associated wedding people. That's you guys. You guys are the associated wedding people. You're the wedding party, because I'm not having a wedding party. Like, I have like 3 friends IRL. So I'm not doing like, well, I guess if you want to think of it this way, my entire wedding party is the wedding. Like, the only people coming to the wedding are who would be in the wedding party if I had a real wedding. You know what I mean? So, like, I have my best friend Cassia. She'll be there, and I've asked her to find a white linen or cotton dress and give it to me by mid-July so I can dye it. So technically, I guess that would put her as a bridesmaid. My sisters, same thing. I told them, buy me a white dress. Alex's sister, same thing, white dress. So all of the people who would like to wear a dress are my bridesmaids, because I'm making all of their dresses naturally dyed. Therefore, they will sort of come out looking kind of like they're in a matching outfit. Therefore, it will look like I have a wedding party. But in reality, I don't, because I don't have anyone else coming to the wedding. Like, the only people, we counted, we have 30 people. There's 30 people on our guest list. And most of that, obviously, is our family. So Alex and I were talking about, like, should we live stream part of the wedding, or should we film, or should we, like, we don't know how we're going to share it, but I want to. Okay. I know there's things in life that you keep private. Like, you guys don't know everything about us. Like, we share what we want to share, you know what I'm saying? But for me, like, I feel like I'm planning the whole wedding online, so I'm okay with you guys being there. Does that make sense? Like, I get that there's, like, certain things, like, I think, like, if I was delivering a baby, maybe I wouldn't necessarily show you that, because for me, that feels like that's just for me. And sometimes when Alex and I have things going on, we don't talk about them or film them, because I'll say to Alex, like, this is just for me. This is just for us. I don't want to share. I just want to have this as mine. And sometimes that's the way it is. I don't feel that way about our wedding. I feel like it's basically just a fun party with lots of flowers. I really want you guys to see the flowers once they start blooming. I'm so excited to see them. I'm so excited to buy from Frida too. Well, she makes beautiful things, Birdie, I can tell you that. On my last, you can crochet a Lacy shawl. Yeah, a Lacy shawl would be pretty, wouldn't it? Nice buttons, aren't they? Oh, I said shawl, I meant veil. Well, I wonder if a veil could be, I guess probably, but I don't know that I'd be any good at making something that would fit right and be a veil. Healthy boundaries, Rebecca. Healthy boundaries. But here's the thing, right? I'm going to have a whole bunch of family who isn't going to be coming to the wedding because of the pandemic. So I am going to need to provide some additional availability of the wedding. I don't need to. I want to. I want my family to be able to see our vows, to see our things. So if I do a live stream, I can just tell my family, you know what I mean? Like, everybody come to the thing. So it wouldn't be an interactive live stream, but I don't know, something like that. You can fill the work up to, and you can film the work up to and then bits and pieces of the wedding. Most folks hire a photographer and sometimes a video person. Yeah, so that we are doing that, Keely, that we are having a videographer and a photographer. That's most of our budget for the wedding, honestly. Alex and I were looking at it, and we bought the tents. Oh my god, we bought our wedding tents. So we got one that's 20 feet by 30 feet and one that's 30 feet by 10 feet. So the 30 feet by 10 feet will be for like the food and beverages and like whatever the catering space it needs. And then the 20 by 30 will be like where our dance floor and where the chairs and stuff are. I still don't know, pandemic-wise, if we're supposed to have seating, like tables and chairs, or if we should have like standing tables, you know, like a cocktail hour at. For me, the only cocktail hours I've ever been to were at university, like speech things, like that Alex had for engineering. We would go to these like, what would you call with those things? Yeah, but why were we there? Like an event? Because like there was the one in Toronto, remember, at that brewery? For opening something? Anyway, Alex and I used to go to these things for software a lot that it would basically be like the tables were tall, like bar chairs and bar tables, no chairs, and you would eat hors d'oeuvres. And I think that makes more safety sense regarding pandemic rules, but everyone who will be coming to this wedding will be at least partially vaccinated. Hopefully most of the people will be fully vaccinated, but like everybody in my age group will be half vaccinated because we don't get our second dose till later. Good morning, sleep deprived. Well, good morning, sleep deprived. Keely, healthy boundaries. Rebecca, yes, agreed. Live stream would be amazing. I think so. I needed video tutorials to see exactly where to stick my needles and how to pull the yarn through the stitches. Fair. On our wedding, we streamed the reception as most of my family couldn't go to India and they were in Colombia. My grandmother was so happy and grateful when I told her we're going to stream it. See, I think that is wonderful. And afterwards, my cousins were telling us about it. That's cute. Hey there, Narelle. So when's the wedding date? Well, I'd love to say I know 100% when the wedding date is, but technically my invitations have not been sent out yet because I am the name of the channel, Last Minute Laura. But when I send out the invitations, I will be certain to know the date of our wedding. So, don't forget to like the video, by the way. I see there's 23 of us in here, and I see 11 likes. I would really appreciate if you could click the like button real quick. Helps the channel grow. So, deep breath. Yeah, so it's going to be a rainy day today. I have a lot of cleaning to get caught up on. I did, like, the cat litter and cleaned all the pet stuff yesterday. So today I have, like, Laura cleaning, because now there is no animal cleaning to get done in the house. Have you booked an officiant? Yes and no. Yes, kind of. My little sister, she had a really good officiant for hers, and she is helping me. So kind of. I haven't really decided. Like, this officiant was nice, and she's, like, sweet, and she'll also go get the marriage certificate and license, which is nice, and then she sends them off. Like, she does all the, like, paperwork end of it, which I appreciate. So, do they do house calls? Yeah, totally. In July, we celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. Wow, 20 years. Alex and I just celebrated 10 years of being together, but this year, our 10th year relationship anniversary is going to be our wedding anniversary as well. So yeah, I at first I wasn't thinking I wanted an officiant, Candace, because I was thinking that's just another body to have on site. But the fact that she'll take care of all of the paperwork end of it, and all she'll do at the ceremony is go like, she signs and she can say, by the power vested in me, she could do that part. But she also has a service for $75 more or whatever. I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the prices yet. How much would an officiant cost? If you were just going to guesstimate in your head, what would you say? I feel like I would say $300. I have no idea. Literally no idea. So probably it's way more than that. Because everything is way more than whatever you're going to guesstimate. Anyway, she has this service that she provides where she will do the legally official stuff, but anybody in your wedding party can, like, marry you, because she just has to do, like, the legally required minimums in order for you to be legally married, but someone else could be, like, saying stuff, so I kind of like that idea, too, and, like, having, like, my sisters marry us, but really this other lady would be married, like, something fun like that, but I also don't really, I don't know yet. We just booked a time and arrived and it was free. Well, Frida, this person, this officiant, it's not just going to City Hall. If we go to City Hall and like try to do it ourselves, it's like $300 just for the marriage certificate, like just to go into City Hall and be like, I would like to be married, please. It costs like $300 for the paper. And then if I'm like, also, I would like to have Alex's last name now that we're married, that's other additional money. Like, all that costs money here. I don't know. And then, but this officiant, she'll go do the paperwork part for you. She'll bring everything that you need to the wedding. She'll do the official work, and then she'll ship off the paperwork for you so that you just like get your documentation done and you don't have to like think about it. But there's a person coming and like doing labor, so that's why it costs money. $300 for a City Hall wedding. Weird. That's not even for a City Hall wedding. That's just for the marriage certificate. Like, you go and order. So I haven't done it yet. So, like, to be honest with you, I'm going based on secondhand information from my little sister from years ago. So, like, maybe I'm wrong. But I'll keep you posted because I'm going to have to do those things. So, there we go. It's my 28th, oh my gosh, anniversary in July. Birdie, that's amazing. You have to crochet Thunder a special collar that carries the rings for you. Thunder, are you going to be our ring bearer? Are you our ring bearer? That's a How I Met Your Mother reference. I'm not mispronouncing bearer. I understand ring bearer, but Thunder will be our ring bearer. He's not interested. He does not really like the rain, so he usually tries to sleep through it. He tries really hard. You can see he is currently working at capacity. But we did buy our tent setups for the wedding. And, oh, I did something for patrons. Probably this won't be done till next week because I'm only doing it when I'm, like, sitting down between outside tasks. Like, 99% of my time right now I'm spending outside, so I'm not getting a ton of inside work done. But I organized how we're going to position the tents. I think. I don't know if this is totally accurate because I haven't measured my backyard. I did measure so I know that the 30 by 20 will fit, but I'm not 100% sure on the angle. But anyway, chicken run at the back, garden here, full of flowers, garden here, full of flowers, and then house, garden here, full of flowers. So this will be like where our food and like whatever the catering people need. This will be where everyone sits and dances, and then we're gonna get married just over here. There's like a bunch of trees that are like, there's like a little willow and some other beautiful trees that hang down really pretty. But this is our preliminary layout for the wedding. I've got an idea, which is very exciting. I was just trying to make sure both tents would fit. We were gonna originally just go with the 20 by 30, but I think that what I want is to do a separate tent for where the food and stuff is so that people who want to like snack don't have to be on the dance floor. I'm going to be on the dance floor the whole night, so that looks lovely, Laura. Thank you, Frida. Frida, we have the Fancy Place Civil Wedding. Ola's sister did beautiful and not all the fancy and quick version that Ola and I did. You know, I think that ours is going to be a mixture between way over planned and totally and completely last minute, because that is the struggle I live. Completely over planned and totally and completely last minute. So like, I know that the wedding favors and the invitations will be lovely. I'll probably forget to do like tablecloths and napkins. You know what I mean? Like the little things that you're supposed to have. I have a list, so I shouldn't forget. But that's likely what will happen is someone will be like, Laura, I dropped my cup and it broke, or I misplaced my cup. Do you have another cup? And I'll be like, nope. Like that kind of thing, you know? Like that's the sort of thing I can see for myself. Is just not having paper towels to clean up messes, or, you know, like just like things where you're like, oh, I just assumed that would already be on the premises. I have to collect all of those things. I haven't really decided what we're going to be doing for plates or for tablecloths or for, I know we have chairs, so that's good. Last minute, just on brand. That's why, Keely. That's the reason. It's because it's my brand. I can't plan a good wedding. It would be against my brand. So embarrassing. Wow, we just booked a time and it was free. Lovely. Rebecca, we only paid for our marriage license. The man that married us did it at no cost because my husband had just joined the army before we married. Oh. Well, that's nice. You got it for free. Married for free. Well, for the fee of the license. Ask your mom to do the little things like that. Well, yeah, Rebecca, she is very much engaged, and so is Alex's mom. She keeps calling and being like, what do you need from us? And I'm like, I don't know. Okay, here's the problem. Not the problem. It's just, I have a very, for someone who does not want to plan things, I do feel particular about the most unnecessary, I feel so particular about the most unnecessary things, like the napkins or something. That's not a good example because that's not true, but like, I'm thinking like if I said like, oh, I don't care what the table linens look like, I'm sure that when they pick out something, I'll be like, it's not right. So, I don't know. Yeah, I want my mom to help with a lot of those things, but like my parents are providing chairs. They have provided all of the, what are they called? I almost said Naruto. That's not the right word. Shivari? Naruto? Shivari. The Shivari chairs. So the only reason I know that name is because when you rent a wedding venue, those chairs are an upgrade. Those are not the initial, those are the fancy chairs. So my parents have the fancy chairs. They have 50, so I'm good. So I'm good for chairs, but I still need tables, and I don't know if I should do like, here's what I was doing yesterday. I was trying to decide with Alex. This is so stupid. What a stupid waste of my time, but it is necessary because there's people who have to come to this wedding. I was like drawing out tables, like, and who's gonna sit at them? That's like a job you have to do for a wedding, is you have to decide where people are gonna sit, and you have to decide, and also I have to decide where people are gonna sit, but I have to also keep in mind that the tables have to be at least 6 feet apart, and the people sitting at the tables should be at least, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to keep pandemic safety as well. So I'm like, send pictures of the ones you like, and they make sure you have, and then they make sure you have it. Hold on. Ask your mom to do the little things. Send pictures of the ones you like, and then make sure you have it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Asking for help. Can you imagine? We had a medieval wedding. Fun. We had no cutlery and fancy plastic cups. My ex-husband did the catering, and I just showed up on the day. Oh, my husband did I say? My husband did the catering and I just showed up on the day. That sounds like a good wedding. If I could just show up, I'd be down. But at the same time, not true. You don't have to decide. You can just make sure you have enough tables and seats and let folks sit where they want. Yeah, but like, at the same time, I kind of want to force them into different locations so that I get to sit like next to my sisters. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to end up sitting next to like extended family. Not that my extended family is not who I would want to sit next to. It's just like at my wedding, I want to be next to like my sisters, you know? I don't know. Yeah, after dinner is done, nothing matters. But at the same time, Sid, you know how I said, like, I have no opinion about a lot of things and then I have a big opinion about a small number of things? One of the things is having place settings and place cards with calligraphy names on them. Like, why, Laura? Why is that the thing that matters? It's garbage after the wedding. Yes, I know this. And yet, this is where we are. You better have plants at your wedding. You should see what I've planted. Willow. Also cool way to spell willow. Louisa, I'm like that. Okay, good. Not just me. Let me see. Frida, I've never heard of that. We don't have it in the UK. I'm interested people do have this in other countries. What did Frida say? Do you have the paperwork to check that you're not related? Honestly, not a bad idea, because like Alex is from Belarus. My dad's side of the family is from Lithuania. Lithuania and Belarus, next door neighbors. We could be distant cousins on one side. We're not, but no, I haven't. This is another reason I never had a wedding. Well, like it's so bizarre because there's certain things where I'm like, I wish I could just walk into a hall and all this stuff was done. But then there's other things where I really don't feel that way. Like, I want to decorate my own wedding. Like, I would like to put up things. I would like to organize things. But there's going to be 30 people. Like, I keep having to remind myself, like, there's not that many people, Laura. You just have to feed 30 people. That's, like, the main thing. You have to feed 30 people, provide shelter, and provide entertainment. That's mostly a wedding. What are the colors for your wedding? Narelle? The frickin' rainbow is my colors. Not literally like Roy G. Biv, but basically here are all the flowers that I have planted for my wedding. Da 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 da. And all of them have sprouted. Guess what came up in one of my gardens? My, hold on, what are they called? Let me look. My Alaskan dwarf nasturtiums V. You and me are both growing the same flower there. And I thought that it was the same as my other nasturtiums, just sick. I thought it was a sick plant, but no, it's variegated. But the baby leaves, the first two leaves are just barely variegated, so it kind of looks like they are either really thirsty or overwatered, you know, but they're not. But these are the colors. So it's like heavy into the, like, I don't know, juicy tones, reds and purples, and there's a lot of marigolds, like, lining everything. Lining all of my garden beds are orange, yellow, and red marigolds, but the bigger flowers are like purples and pinks. So there's gonna be a lot of color. But my color in a perfect world would be pale pink. So hopefully I can include a lot of pale pink. But you better have plants at your wedding. I am definitely gonna have plants, Willow. Keely, you can just have the groom bride's table planned and then have this rest seat wherever. That's true too. Maybe mix up tables, rectangular for the head table and round for the family and guests. I like that idea. This is the other thing though, Yojo, is that I have to decide, am I going to rent tables from a party rent place, or am I going to buy tables and then resell them, or am I going to buy tables that I want, or am I going to buy tables that I'm going to rent out? Do you know what I mean? Like, Alex and I are talking about, like, are we buying, renting, or buying with the intention of selling? So we haven't really decided. It looks like the rain has already stopped and the sun is coming out, so that's great. Bye, Keely. Have a good day. Oh, Rebecca. Way too stressful to plan a wedding, and my mother passed in 2006, and I wouldn't want to without her. I get that. Yeah, I don't think I would want to without my mom either. Yep. Understandable. And also, Frida, I agree with you. You should have the wedding you want or not. Well, I am happy that... Okay, no, that's not right. The fact that my wedding is occurring on the tail end of a global pandemic means that a lot of the decisions that I was nervous to make, I do not have to make. I don't have to make the decision that people can't come, because the pandemic made that for me. I could just say, like, sorry, can't do it. I don't even have to apologize, because the pandemic makes it make sense, which is great, because initially it was like 111 people on our list, and that's like way more people than I ever care to see at one time. Ever. So I think 30 I can handle. And the only downside for me is that all 30 of them will want to make eye contact with me at one time, which I'm not about. Like, I like a group of 5 to make eye contact with it at one time, and at the same time, I'm still exhausted hanging out with 5 people for an evening, so I can't even imagine having to speak to 30 people and like thank 30 people for being there. That sounds terrible to me, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be as grown up as I can, and I'm going to try really hard to not get exhausted and need a nap during my own wedding. So that's true. It makes it a ton easier. It does. It's definitely making it easier for me. I don't have to, like, you know, this is an example that is, don't internalize anything I'm saying here. Just listen. Like, people who my parents know who were guests at my parents' wedding because they were friends with my grandparents. So friends of my grandparents who were present at my parents' wedding, why would I invite them to my wedding? That's how I feel. I don't, like, I've maybe met them 3 times in my life. They know my grandpa or my grandma or my great aunts or whatever, and they don't talk anywhere regularly to my parents. You know what I mean? Like, I look at it like that. Like, I understand the scenario where that makes sense. If you're having a 300 people wedding, invite those people, give everybody somebody to talk to. But to me, I'm like, I already feel uncomfortable talking to them because I've only talked to them 4 times in my life, and now I have to talk to them for a few minutes on a day where I'm already over, you know what I mean? Like, for me, it's just too many mental gymnastics. I just don't get it. And then there's the whole, like, this person was at your sibling's wedding and your other sibling's wedding, so they should have a really great rest of their life. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. That's what they should do. I hope the best for them. And I hope that they had a great time at the 2 weddings they came to. But like, ooh, I'm not emotionally prepared for that. But at the same time, I understand why that would be fun, to have everyone who's ever known your family come to a family wedding. Like, the idea, like, my mom and dad went to a Sikh wedding maybe, I don't know, a year ago. More than a year ago, because can't have a Sikh wedding right now. Sikh wedding right now would be not allowed. There's just far too many people. And my mom said they had hundreds, like 600 people at this beautiful, beautiful wedding. There were like literal physical clouds in the place and a videographer and a drone, like an insane wedding. But like 600 people. Party, for sure a party. Liquor flowing. DJ in one room, band in another room. You know what I mean? Like, there's a huge wedding sounds like fun. Everyone you've ever known being in a place. How weird is that? But not for me. Seems cool. Not for me. I'd like to attend a wedding like that, but I don't want it to be my wedding. Like, I would love if I had another sibling who got married and invited literally every person that I had ever met. How interesting. I just never ever want all of them to be looking at me. For someone who's like very much an attention seeker, I really don't want people looking at me in real life. I can be an attention seeker online, but like in real life, I'm like, look at me, look at me, look at me in a group of 5. And then if there's like 100 people, I'm like, don't make eye contact with me. Like, I don't know. How am I supposed to get married, you guys? I'm not ready. Wow, I love learning all the different things there are out there. Birdie, I know, right? Everything is crazy depending on where you are. Like, your physical location dictates a lot of what's normal for you. You know what I mean? No, that makes total sense, because you're right. It's already overwhelming, and the thought of having to appease people you don't really know is unnecessarily stressful. And having to remember things like, do you remember when you used to come to my house? I had a turtle. I don't know you. You were only 3 feet tall. Well, that makes sense. I wasn't making memories yet. You know, that sort of thing. I'm very much a small group person. See, I am a small group person, but I can't craft and talk anymore. What's going on with me? I am a small group person with a big group personality. Like, if I'm in a group of 10 people, I need to talk. It's like a flaw. So just don't live like this. But it's like I need to talk loud enough that all 10 people hear me. And I worry that I will feel that way in a group of 100 people. I don't want them to all look at me, but I feel that if I'm talking, I need to make it so that I'm the only one talking. It's not healthy. It's not good. Don't behave this way. And then also the other problem is that my anxiety doesn't interrupt me while I'm interrupting everyone and being loud. It waits until I'm on my walk home from interrupting and being loud, and then it's like, no one there wants to talk to you ever again. That's what my brain will do. Thanks. Louisa, my husband is Sikh. Imagine my wedding. We had to be really strict with the number of people. Yeah, how many people were at your wedding? Also, that means your wedding must have been beautiful. Sikh weddings, like my mom and dad, they dressed to impress, and they were still, like, they were not nearly the most dressed up. There were people wearing the most, like, that would be, if there were 600 people going to a wedding, I can see why you would be, like, dressed to the nines. It was amazing. The party was amazing. There was a video of the wedding shown at the reception. They had a videographer that filmed the wedding dynamically with drones and action shots and steady cams, and they showed that video at the reception that night. Like magic. And my mom said that there was food and alcohol forever. There was just food forever, alcohol forever, dancing and drinking and partying. And I was like, that sounds like a cool party. An expensive party. But I think that the idea of that, like, having that many people at your wedding, it is like an investment into your future. You know, like, you invite all those people and then everybody contributes to you buying a house or something. Like, that. Louisa, I don't even know. Remember, it's your wedding day. Have people around you to buffer away from you. Remember to enjoy yourself. Norel, I agree. My buffers are going to be my sisters, which is funny because when we're all put together, we are like a cackling group of little gossiping chickens, and it will do the opposite of make me feel calm because we are all so high amped when we're together that if I'm like unsure about something, my sisters and I will like discuss it, and then we'll all be thinking it, so it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine. It's literally gonna be in my backyard, so I don't think I'll get too stressed because the only stress for me is performing for everyone else. Like, in reality, no matter what happens on that day, I will end the day with being married to the person that I've been in love with for a decade. You know what I mean? Like, for me, that's the goal of this wedding. So all the other stuff that happens, if it fails miserably, I'm going to have a beautiful garden and a husband. You know? That's fine. I can share the pre-wedding video with you. You have a pre-wedding video, of course. I would love to see it, though, because I bet you it's beautiful, Louisa. The one that I saw, my mom showed me the one that they showed at the wedding, and holy mackerel. It was like a film with editing and subtitles. And voiceovers, like they asked people things and recorded it during I don't know how they could possibly make it as fast as they did, but it was like a high quality film. That maybe they had parts of it already done before the wedding and then they just like dropped in clips from the wedding or something, but wow. Amaze. I have 3 sisters, so I know where you're coming from. It's like, rather than it diffusing a situation to add my sisters, it just adds electricity into a situation. We all act like we're like this calming force for each other, but we are all just an amped up, stormy one. Is Louisa heading out? Willow, hi and bye. Sorry I missed you coming in. I didn't see Louisa. I didn't see Willow leaving. I have to go. There we go. Good luck on everything. Thank you. Gotta run, guys. Oh, bye, Yojo. Your wedding will be fine, Laura. Much love all. I think it'll be fine. Right? Why on earth would they need to be there? Exactly, Sid. I think it'll be fine. It's not until, like, late summer. We've got lots of time to worry about it. Right now is not that time for me. But it's true, whoever said a veil is just a long shawl. True. But I feel like the yarn that I'm knitting the shawl from is going to be Angora, and I don't know that Angora would make a good veil for late August. Might be a little warm. Maybe if we were getting married in November, an Angora veil would make sense. Sleep deprived. Oh, hello. And I have one sister 2 years younger, but she doesn't like to hang out with me. Not yet, she doesn't. Someday she will. My sister's 2 years older than me, and my little sister is 1.5 years younger than me, so there's pretty much 2 years between each kid in my family, and we didn't start getting along really. Like, obviously we were siblings growing up, so when it was the day that we all clean our room, we would be hanging out with each other cleaning our rooms, you know what I mean? Or, like, we got along as kids because kids have to get along because they live in the house together, but, like, we weren't friends until we were well into, like, adulthood. My sisters and I had a rough teenagehood together, like 3 teenagers in one house. Luckily, there were multiple bathrooms, but still, 3 teenage girls and one teenage boy. My brother was like very low maintenance as far as like dramatic teenager, but 3 high maintenance teenage girls in one house. We did not get along ever. I don't care about my things the way that my older sister does, and I don't, like, my older sister was very particular about her items when she was younger, like her clothing, she was very good to, and I was very bad to my clothing. I just didn't ever have the value to it. So we could never get along there because I would borrow things and then stain them or just damage things. And now obviously I look back and I'm like, wow, that was rude. Like, and poor my sister, but at the time I was like, what is she reacting so strongly about? These are just jeans. Whereas now I'm like, I mean, I still feel that way about clothes, but now I understand that other people don't. So I'm respectful more, I hope. My sister is 12 years younger than me. People thought she was my baby. That must have been fun when you're like 15 years old holding your little sister, taking her to somewhere, and people are like, oh, you have a child. Why? And you're like, well, first of all, she's not mine. Second of all, I don't need your opinion. I used to get that from people when I was babysitting. When I was like 16, I would like, in Ottawa, I would take these kids, my sister and I would take these kids out, and we would get like dirty looks whenever I would be like walking one-on-one with a small child. And I remember being like, not, like, I remember feeling like, what's the emotion for this? It's like angry proud. Do you know the word I'm looking for? It's like where you're like, I want to say indignant. Is that the right word? Where I would be like proudly carrying the baby and being like, so what if she is mine? Do you know what I mean? Pride is not the right word, but it would be like in the face of people looking at me like, you look too young to be holding that baby. I would be too young holding that baby. It's weird how people think that they should make a 16-year-old feel some kind of way for holding a baby. Like, I was babysitting in that scenario, but imagine if I wasn't, and I was carrying, like, my child, and people used to, like, when my older sister and we would babysit these 4 kids, and they were these beautiful, like, whatever, a teacher of, a friend of my mom's, who was one of my teachers when I lived overseas, lived where my sister and I lived. And we used to babysit their kids. And their kids were little, and we were in university. And I looked young because I was 18 or 19, and my sister was 21. And for real, we would like we would talk to each other while we were walking, because like I'd be holding a baby in my arms and my sister would be pushing a stroller, and then there would be like a 3-year-old between us. And people would like look at us like clearly so that we would see them looking at us. It wasn't like people were glancing and being like, ooh, rumor feelings. It was like people would go like, and I'm like, can you imagine how that would feel if this was actually my kid? Like, that would feel really awful. Like, it didn't feel awful. It felt like something I needed to stand up to because it wasn't something I felt bad about. But I can't even imagine how that would have felt if it was your kid. You're walking with your kid and someone's looking at you like you're disgusting. Whoa, people. Rude. Anyway, babysitting as a young person. Haha, the vibe. Oh, God, I miss those kids. They were so lovely. Also, they always had good food in their house whenever we babysat. Healthy food. They were, like, super healthy. One of the best things about babysitting, eating other people's snacks. Am I right? And also, like, making baby food is, like, so much fun. Making snacks for little kids, love it. Because I get to, like, not do it after I'm finished, you know? It's not parenting. I don't know why, but Discord's not opening for me right now, Louisa. It's loading really slowly. Birdie, my baby brother is 20 years younger than me. Wow. And my little sister is 17 years younger. And my oldest little sister is 11 years younger. My dad had a second marriage. So you got to have like, well, 20 years younger. That would be like a whole, you probably got to like experience them as like a whole adult then. Did you like go out with your baby brother and literally have a baby? This is my baby brother. That must have been kind of fun. You can watch it later. I will, Louisa. People come up to me and ask how old I was when I was pregnant with my first child. Like, I'm sorry, who are you? And how are you ready to judge me? Also, literally, even if you knew me, what a weird question. Also, what a weird question. Like, how will that help you with your day today, sir or madam? You know? appreciate it, but come. I've babysat twice for my niece and nephew. Obviously, I was the last on the who to call list. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be the first on the who to call list because I'm going to be a really fun aunt. I don't know. I just feel like that small experience that I had, V, was enough for me to be like, wow, people are terrible. Rude. You know what you should say if someone ever does that again, V? My little sister taught me this one, and I haven't had to use it in public yet, but oh, I can't wait to. It's, did you mean to say that out loud? Or, did you mean to say that? Or, pardon me? Like, just fully make people repeat the shitty things they say. Excuse my language. But, did you mean to say that out loud? I love that. Because, like, you know, there's, like, creepy men, I'm sorry, to even anyone who identifies as not creepy, but a man. In the world, there are many creepy men. And it would be nice, like, if, because men will say, like, like, why don't you smile? That's, like, a real thing. When I was working at Canadian Tire, people would, like, straight up say that, like, I've seen you, I've come in before when you've been so happy, like, you look much better when you're smiling, and, like, that's a real thing that's been said to me, and I wish that I could have had this to say at the time. I don't think it would have been relevant back then. I think Me Too needed to happen for us to be able to stand up to, like, 55-year-old white men who think they're being cute, but now we can stand up to them properly, and they'll know that what they did was stupid, as opposed to if we stood up back then, they'd be like, wow, you're a bitch. So I feel like now I would love to be able to be like, did you mean to say that? Or this is another one that's really good. Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, that's embarrassing. So if someone says like, hey, can I get some fries with that shake? You could be like, that's embarrassing. And then just walk away like, oh no, they don't even know that what they said is so embarrassing. Like, I love the idea of just making someone feel like, to make someone cringe. The double back and cringe is so much better than like making someone feel bad. Making someone question what they just said. Oh, do you know what it feels like to question what you just said? It's like literally the story of every time I open my mouth, I immediately am like, I have ruined everything. Like, so I would love to just give that to like a 50-year-old white man. Just for a brief moment, just to feel the anxiety of, oh no, did I ruin everything with what I said? Oh, it would feel good, wouldn't it? Sorry. I'm shivering now. I feel like I'm on a caffeine. Like my caffeine hit me before the food did, you know? I kind of miss very little kids. My youngest is turning 8 and my oldest will be 16. Oh my god, 16. The hard years. I mean, they can be good years too. I had a lot of fun in my teens, and I also had a lot of hard time in my teens. You know, like people are like, high school was awful. I'm like, high school was so many things. 16 though. Hard time. You think you want to be 20, and then you turn 20, and you think you want to be 30, and then you turn 30, and you're like, oh, I didn't. That was a bad idea to want either of those two things. I can't wait to use that. People come out the box all the time, especially older people. Yeah. They think that for some reason it's cute when they say certain things, or they think that it will come off as funny, or they think that somehow their question isn't offensive. I was just wondering how old you were when you had your first kid. For no reason. I was just wondering. I don't know why you're offended. Literally like old people. And you're like, maybe break down why you were asking that question. Maybe back up. Break your question down one step back. Why do you want to know? Once you know how old I was when I had my first kid, what is the next thing your brain does? Okay, so it was to be judgmental. Okay, cool. Just double back and figure out why you were asking questions. Rude. Just saying. I just had an unpleasant experience, Oracle says. Oh no, I poured boiling water in my noodle cup and the plastic lid flapped down, water spilled out and burnt my hand. No! Stressful. I'm freezing now. I don't think it's caffeine. I think I'm just cold. I'm not wearing something to cover my legs right now. Oh, my knee is hurting. Complain. It's hard. Actually, now that I'm sitting up, I'm gonna just come back here to the stream for a moment, friends. Talk amongst yourselves for 2 moments. I have to pee, so I will be right back. I'm just gonna mute you so that you can't eavesdrop on me peeing. BRB! Talk amongst yourselves. Okie dokie. Ugh. Okay. I hate that feeling of being taken out of context or misunderstood in general. Sorry that happened to you, Oracle. Oh, what happened? The other day I said something in the chat. Someone took it out of context and thought I was being mean? Wait, what? Really? The other day I said something in the chat. Someone took it out of context and thought I was being mean. Oracle, okay, hold on. I even do that in the chat. I type delete it, then delete it, type it, then delete it. Well, Oracle, don't remember what was that. It was ridiculous, honestly, but it made me laugh. To be honest, my whole life. Time to get deep. I've always been taken out of context or misunderstood, which is so draining, especially when you're a child. It can be so alienating. Yeah, that's risky. I don't like the feeling of being taken out of context or like having someone misunderstand the way that you're saying something. Like, often I will say things incorrectly, but my heart is trying to say something else, but the words that I have at my disposal are not the right words to convey the thing that is in my head. The picture in my head is not the same as the words that I have, you know? Lebo, I'm an only child. I wish my mother had made me just one more child. She said I was so naughty she could not imagine having another one. Well, thanks, Mom. I'm one of 4. There are 4 of us in my family, and I will say I was never lacking for someone to play with. So that is, like, as much as, like, if I think about it, I'm like, oh, do I really want to have multiples? Like, having more than one kid sounds like a lot. It was a really valuable resource as a child, having other kids to talk to. Being able to go to my sister and be like, question, and having her not know the answer and having us both talk about how we don't know the answer, you know? It's different. It's different to talk to a kid than it is to talk to a parent. Your peers are relevant, and especially for people who are unsure in their general life, having a sibling is nice for bouncing ideas off of. Like, I don't know, I was always very self-doubtful. Like, I would be... It's weird, because it's like when I'm in public, I am on and shining and lit and bright and ready to go, and then as soon as I'm out of public, I am internalizing everything that happened. And that's always been that way for me. I didn't know that wasn't how everyone was always doing it. And if I hadn't had siblings, I would have just, I don't know how far I would have made it in life, honestly, without siblings, because my anxiety would have eaten me. If I couldn't have said, like, is this embarrassing what I said, and had any sibling go like, no, or yeah, you're stupid. You know, just having another person to make the things that you said and are unsure about seem less of a big deal. 2 is a good number. I think so. I was worried I got too much nutmeg in my apple oatmeal, but I think it might be perfect. What a lovely sentence. I feel like that would be on a journal. Like a leather-bound journal. A beautiful sentence for a leather-bound journal. My mom always said never 3 because she's the middle child and hated it. See, I considered that also, is if you have 3, then there's always going to be 2 against 1, because kids team up. If you have 4, you have a good chance of always having a good, fair game. Because if somebody is teaming up on someone else, the 4th kid usually just picks the one that's being teamed up on, you know? Birdie, it happens every year, the last 40. Oh, what was that? I think I have a fever. My body is really fighting the pollen. Ugh, God, that's awful. I was an only kid, and my mom would go over things I said with me, but often the answer was yes, next time do it differently. Next time do it differently. Yeah. Story of, like, the way I live my life. Good job, Laura. Next time do it differently. You guys want to hear some fun news? Well, it's, like, fun and sad. Excuse me. Oh, I'm having a wave of nausea. Just give me a second here. I hate that. This happens to me, like, every day. Like, I'm not gonna throw up. I know I'm not gonna throw up. And I can tell that I'm not gonna throw up because I know the feeling, but it still feels awful. It still feels nausea. Like, it still feels like I'm gonna throw up. But I know I'm not gonna, because I haven't. I've just had this thing. Okay. Almost done. So frustrating. Okay, it's pretty much over. I'm good. I have 3. I don't want another, but I hear 4 is easier. Well, maybe you should just have a 4th, or don't. I'll be your 4th. Thank you, Frida. 2 seems like a good amount. If I ever have kids, I'll start off at 2. Lol, you said that. You've now put it into the universe. You would have triplets. Anyone who says, I'm only going to have 1, that's when you get twins. Or, I'm just going to have 1 more so that I can try and have a girl. Then you get twin boys. Don't tell the universe out loud, or the universe will play a trick on you. I have 5 kids. Breathe, Laura. 5 kids. Sadie, that must be just a wild house. Just, I'm at, how many boys, how many girls, though? I feel like, are boys louder? I feel like boys are loud. Like, once you have a multiple boys in a house, then they're, like, running, and then, why are there always shoes on? In my head, when there's boys running around, they're wearing shoes. I don't have kids, can you tell? I'd like twins. Ugh. I would like a twin boy and girl. I don't actually think I would, because I think I would probably go insane, because that sounds like so much work, because they don't all sleep at the same time. They're 2 separate individuals, so you never get to rest if you have twins, but how fun would it be to have a girl and a boy? Boys are socialized. That they are loud. Oh. I'm a loud girl. I'm a loud girl. Yeah, boys are socialized to be loud and to take up space. Take up space when you want to, girls. 2 boys and 1 girl, I feel for her. Poor girl. At least she's got you. That's nice. Well, that's what happened to me every time I got pregnant. I thought we were going to have a boy, and then I had a dream about having a boy, so I knew there were going to be girls. I used to think, like, I didn't want boys at all. And now, like, any type of child sounds terrifying. Before, it was like, I just want girls. Girls are lovely, and I don't know why I thought girls are lovely and frilly and pink. Like, I was in the mud picking leeches off of turtles when I was a little kid. So, like, I wasn't soft and frilly and pink. But in my brain, a baby girl is going to be soft and frilly and pink. In my brain, I somehow forget that until they're, like, 3, a baby girl and a baby boy are, like, the same thing. And then they start to show signs that they want to be certain ways, but like up until they're 3, it's literally almost the same thing, right? Like 4, maybe 3 or 4. I feel like at 3 or 4, they're gonna start having opinions about stuff, right? But like up until that point, I can make my little boy a frilly little boy if I want. I can, you know, the rules. Louisa, your pre-wedding video is like a beautiful Bollywood movie. Ooh, I want to see it. Sid, I thought you were, well, Sid, I have 4 boys and 1 daughter. Our daughter is the noisy one. My parents said I was silent until I learned to walk. And the moment my mom and dad said, like, I would be quiet, just watching from my high chair, because I had a little older sister and older brother. And she said, as soon as I figured out how to make myself move, I never was quiet again. I was like, cool, good to know. My girl is so emotional, my boys just grunt. Teenage boys, that's terrifying. And also they smell, no offense to teenage boys, but like the smell of a teenage boy's bedroom, teenage boys don't smell, they smell like people do, but like the smell of a teenage boy's bedroom is a very specific smell. You didn't actually assume wrong though. No, not wrong, just mislabeling. Labeled, yeah, only partially labeled, Sid. I'm one of 2 girls, and then I have 3 brothers, very rambunctious. I'm the oldest. Oh my god, the oldest, and then a whole bunch? No, they stink. Norel, well, I don't remember my brother ever stinking. I don't remember Alex ever smelling bad, but I remember when I went into his bedroom the first time, I could smell that there was a teenage boy living there. You know, my brother, I could smell that there was a teenage boy living there. Any of my boyfriends. It was like, girls' bedrooms don't smell the way boys' bedrooms do. Teenage girls' bedrooms. Probably, again, to do with the socialization of, like, girls know that they're supposed to have their sheets washed. Why do boys not know that? Like, Alex still doesn't know when, or, like, he knows how to wash laundry, obviously. He knows how to wash the sheets. But, like, it's not something he knows to do until I am, like, time to wash the sheets. You know what I mean? I don't know. Thanks, socialization. I know how to do laundry since I was 7. Thanks. Appreciate. Just teenagers smell, not just boys. No. Teenagers, all teenagers smell, but like teenage girls' bedrooms don't smell the way a teenage boy's bedroom smells, is what I'm saying. It's like that greasy hair smell, you know? The BO is different because pheromones are different. True. So are you telling me I was never attracted to teenage boys? Because those pheromones never did it for me. Those smells were never ones where I was like, ah. Teenage boys were never my thing. I always need chocolate. What? I need chocolate. Totally. Sigh. Oh, there we go. Sigh. I need chocolate. Me too. Teenage boys are stinky. Yeah, they are. Agreed. Ola started talking in whole sentences. What? Why? Hold on. Zania, Zania. Zania or Zania? Zania or Zania? Zania. I feel like it's Zania. Tell me, is it Zania or Zania? Probably Zania. Both are pretty though. Zania, Zania. I'm just gonna say your kids' names over and over and over. Okay, so Zania, because that's the first one I said, right? Jeez. You could just soundbite, just me saying your kid's name over and over again, and then make it your ringtone for when they call. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the toilets. Oh my god, just don't get me started on, I don't know how parenting is gonna happen for me. That, like, they have to clean, they have to help. And they won't. Oh, it's raining again. I have to clean. I have to learn how to be a clean person. A neat person. I'm a clean person. I'm not a neat person. I'm very not neat. I refuse to use my brother's bathroom. Yeah, I remember when we were teenagers, my dad, my Nana was going to move in with us because she had Alzheimer's and she had to move out of her home and she moved into our family home. And so she took over my brother's bedroom. So my dad built a new bedroom in the basement. Like we had a finished basement, but one room was like, we had two living room. In the 90s and the early 2000s, there was a computer room, okay? Now everybody just has a computer, but when we were growing up, there was a computer room. Well, our computer room became my brother's bedroom, and my dad built a whole bathroom downstairs with a shower and a sink and a toilet and everything for my brother's basement bathroom. Obviously, it wasn't just for him, but it came to be the boys' bathroom. It was where my dad went and where my brother went, and we didn't use it because they were gross and they were boys. Obviously, my dad wasn't gross, but like my brother was. Love you, brother, but like teenage boy. And then the girls' bathrooms were upstairs, and then my mom had her own bathroom upstairs. We had three. Can you believe that? The magic of our world. Now I look on it and I'm like, I can't even imagine how other families do it with only one bathroom, because we had 7 people at the most, because when my Nana lived with us, we had 7 in the house. 7 people in the house, we needed the 3 bathrooms. We had 2 bathrooms for most of my childhood, and then my dad put in the 3rd one downstairs and changed everything. There was never a lineup ever again. There was the situation where cold water would happen. When you thought you were in a hot shower, it would become a cold shower, but, you know, that's what happens when a lot of people shower. The water runs out. See, the thing is that you can teach boys to be neat, just like you can socialize them to be nonviolent. What? Sid? What? We can just raise our boys to not be R-words? People who R-word people? Wow, that's crazy. Like, my brother isn't super nasty because my mom normalized cleaning up after ourselves. My dad is nasty because he was never taught to do that. My dad is neat and very much he's a putterer. Like, if my mom is doing something, my dad is puttering around her, cleaning up after her. And if you're just standing in the kitchen talking to my dad, he's also unloading the dishwasher. My dad is very much neat when it comes to household things, and then he is like me when it comes to his things. Like how I'm a hoarder of plants and yarn and like artsy craftsy things, my dad's a hoarder of tool things. Anything tools, my dad is a hella hoarder. But there's like certain things about my parents where I'm like, I realize they're things that now I recognize about them. Like, for example, my dad has always brushed his teeth twice a day, every day, forever, all of my memory. I always, like, I don't always remember to brush my teeth twice a day. And then I'll go like, oh, I went to bed late last night, right after eating a freezy, and now I have to wake up because my mouth is going, yeah, and I have to brush my teeth in the morning. And I should have brushed them last night like a normal person. But every single, like, it was like, and after every meal, like, I remember, like, it's this thing. My dad and his dental health has always been impeccable. Something I just now recognize about him that never meant anything to me when I was younger, and now I'm like, my dad has very good oral hygiene. That's very nice. I appreciate that. There's a little tidbit. In case you guys were wondering, my dad has great oral hygiene. It's how you raise them. Well, I wish that I had the wherewithal to remember to floss my teeth every single day and always have, like, even when I'm depressed, remember to wash my face. Can you imagine? If I could self-care 100% of the time, I would be lit. Oh, speaking of which, my older sister came for a visit because my little sister bought a house. There was like a whole thing. Don't worry. There was quarantining involved. We were all half vaccinated and we were all wearing masks and we were all outside. But she brought me, she uses expensive skincare because she's a fancy lady. And she has found her skincare routine. So some of her older things, they're not even old, they're like within the last 6 months, that she isn't using. She was like, do you want them? And I was like, obviously. She gave me this serum from Drunk Elephant. It's called like Drunk Elephant Nighttime Fine Lines and Repair Glyco something serum. Just a clear gooey serum. Put it on the last couple of nights and my skin is on fleek. Laura said it right. It was the long version. Hold on. What did I say right? I tidy up behind Simon. Zanaya is how she's saying it is pronounced. Sorry if this is wrong. All my boys. Zanaya. Hold on. Laura said it right. It was the long I version. Zania. Now I'm confused. I see Maya. Thanks. Hold on. I'm trying to catch up. Right? That's me. My youngest will literally look at me drop trash. I drop trash on the floor! So, Rebecca, I feel like your youngest, I have like a cartoon picture of, because whenever you reference them, it's them being like defiant to like the cartoon character level. Like, I can just imagine. Maya, thanks. I didn't know how to convey that. There we go. The long I version. Aya. Okay. My dad is a nightmare at cleaning. Starts one job, then starts another, then another, doesn't finish, then moves on to another place. That's it. Makes me crazy. Hi, I'm your dad, Oracle. Nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. I am your dad. I start 11 things and then finish 6 of them. Which 6? We'll never know. 6 of them are finished, though, you know? Yes, Laura, that's him. What a cutie. You know what I picture when you talk about your youngest? You know the book, I'll Love You Forever, I'll Like You for Always, As Long As I'm Living, My Baby You'll Be, by Robert Munch? The baby who flushes the watch down the toilet is who I picture your baby as. And if you're like, what is she talking about? I'm like, what was your childhood? Also, what was Alex's childhood? Do you guys know Repeat After Me songs? Like from camp? Did anyone else go to camp? Alex is from Belarus. He explains it as like camping is not a thing there because that's life, and why would you go live in the woods? So that's how Alex's like family. Alex likes camping, but like when we say to his dad, like, we're gonna go stay in a tent, he's like, why would you sleep on the ground outside? It doesn't make sense. But when Alex talks about his childhood, and I'm like, you never went camping? You don't know any Repeat After Me songs? You don't know the song There Was a Great Big Moose? I did the whole performance last night. I had a panic attack yesterday, and Alex was sitting with me in the bedroom helping me chill, and so somehow it came up, and he fed into the conversation because I was like in a bit of a spiral, so he was like letting me like get off that train of thought, and then we talked for like half an hour about I don't know, camp songs. And I sang them to him. And he was like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, it's not supposed to. It's a Repeat After Me song. Have you ever gone to camp? Yes, Laura, that's him. Okay, good. Hold on. Laura said it right. Okay, good. Didn't know how to convey that. It gets me so agitated, creates clutter while cleaning. Yep, that's me. Scary experience. Someone followed us in the tall grass. What? When? Now? Are you okay? The buttons for my dad's cardigan came today and they're like 2 inches wide. Are they pretty? I want to hear the moose song. I know something gets on everybody's nerves. Literally? Oh my god, that's what I've been singing, V. Okay, so there's the I know a song that gets on everybody's nerves, everybody's nerves, everybody's nerves. I know a song that gets on everybody's nerves, and this is how it goes. All together now. I know a song that gets on everybody. And you just keep going until someone goes crazy. And then there's another one that goes, oh, hey, Peekaboo. Good morning. Hi. You gonna come up and hang out with me? No, she can go poop in her clean kitty litter. Sorry, at camp, something was wrestling in the grass and all the girls screamed. Oh! Scary experience, something followed us in the tall grass. At camp. I wasn't following my own train of thought there, V. Now I understand. Simon does that with the SpongeBob campfire song. The song that never ends. Oh gosh, I was gonna say that one next. That one's from, Lamb Chop, remember? The show Lamb Chop? This is the song that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people just started singing it. It's relevant. Not knowing what it was, and they just kept on singing it forever, just because it is a song that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. The moose one goes, there was a great big moose. Great big moose who likes to drink a lot of juice, who likes to drink a lot of juice. There was a great big moose, there was a great big moose who likes to drink a lot of juice, who likes to drink a lot of juice. And then the chorus, you go, way-oh, 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 way-oh. I don't know why. Way-oh, 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 way-oh. And then he had a friend named Jack, he had a friend named Jack. He liked to drink his coffee black. He liked to drink his coffee black. He had a friend named Jack. It literally doesn't matter. The songs don't matter or make any sense. I wanted to eat lamb chops so he would stop singing that song, right? On Black Bear packed up the bank, another black bear backed down, and so many other ones. I don't even know the names. I love how they're all just kind of nonsense. They are. Oh my god, lamb chop, my whole childhood. Remember lamb chop? Seriously, Rebecca, none of them make any sense. There's the one that's, the Tarzan one. Hold on. Tarzan. There's a Tarzan one, and it was like, shoot, I don't remember it, but I know there's Cheetah is Velveeta. This Cheetah is Velveeta. Tarzan got a pain. No, wait. Tarzan got a tan. Something Jane got a pain. Then Cheetah is Velveeta. It's literally, all of it is nonsense. It's all nonsense. All camp songs are just nonsense, but they're a lot of fun, and they take up memory in my hard drive here. But yeah, I was singing Alex camp songs, and there are so many that you're like, what is that even about? Like the ones where you like, I'm trying to think of the one where you're like clapping along with it. All of them. I have to make a list because they are silly, and you should know them if you don't know them because they're silly. So that helped with my anxiety. Don't forget the Wheels on the Bus. Oh god, my kids would start singing that in the car. No wonder I'm nuts. Yeah, that would make me one. That would be one that makes me nuts. When we were kids, when we were in long car rides, we didn't have to play. My mom was a teacher, so there was always games that were either brain games or basically like I Spy, but there was the one where you had to come up with a country or an animal or a bird, or like it had to be part of whatever the grouping was. Like if you said countries, then it had to be countries. If you said it's just lizards that you can use, I was always the one who was saying like, let's do animals. But you would be like Antarctica. Well, that ends in an A, so you have to do another country that starts with an A. Algeria. Well, now you got another one, and then you had to... Basically, it would be like everyone would end in A until my older sister would say one that didn't, and then we would be able to start the game again. Those ones were fun. That's me with my vocal warm-ups required too. Like, I can't tell you how many times a day I get the intrusive thought of random scale songs like, Chester Cheetah chewed a chunk of cheap cheddar cheese! That's like Alex, who will randomly in the day go, the arsonist had oddly shaped feet. Which is a quote from Anchorman. It's his vocal warm-ups. He's going like, what does he say? The arsonist had oddly shaped feet, and... Alex, what are the other ones? Oh, the Human Torch was denied a bank loan. The arsonist had oddly shaped feet. Just, what? Can my TV stop lagging the stream for me? It might not be you. Try refreshing the browser, because I saw a lag a couple of times on mine, so it could be on my end as well. Sleep deprived. That's me. Well, I'm glad that your vocal warm-ups are intrusive camp songs. Not glad for you, actually. The word intrusive and glad shouldn't be together in a sentence. I'm sorry you have intrusive camp thoughts. God. Narelle, my nieces and nephews drive me nuts, but I send them home to their parents. True. I'm lucky I'm a drummer. When my kids get too much, I drown them out. Oh, that is kind of nice, Narelle. I told Alex about a drum story the other day. When I grew up, there was a Christmas where we got a drum set. The 4 kids got a drum set. And I remember my mom being like, okay. Like, my dad got us a drum set and set it up in the basement. So, like, on Christmas morning, there was a drum set set up. And I was saying to Alex, I'm pretty sure the only person who played it other than jokingly, like, we got on it and went like, bang, bang, I can play the drums. I think the only person who actually played the drum set was my dad. So, like, my dad got this Christmas gift for the kids. The only person who uses it, my dad. Makes me laugh. When we were teenagers. My parents were very invested in us being creative in artistic and musical ways, I think. Because my mom was a teacher, I think she saw the value in it. So, like, we did piano lessons well into my, like, high school years, from the time I was, like, 6 years old. I did violin lessons. My older sister did German. My little sister did curling. We had a drum set. Like, we did all the things that my parents were like, this will make them well-rounded humans! Please come out well-rounded! I think that more or less, most of us came out all right. I was learning the drums a few years ago, but I got too many migraines and gave it away. That would have been fun until the migraines happened. It is fun banging on something and making a loud noise, I must say. And then making a loud noise on purpose in a way that sounds cool? That sounds great to me. But I don't like headaches. And also, listening to someone else practice the drums is probably as bad as listening to someone practice the violin. It's not good. Because as soon as you're like, oh yeah, a beat, oh, now they're stopped again. Oh yeah, oh, now they're stopped again. There's no, like, following the practicing. Honestly, listening to anyone practice any instrument is like nails on a chalkboard. I remember when I was in high school, I had a boyfriend and I used to, like, go to his band practices, and I remember being, like, pretending to be happy and excited that I was listening to the band practice. But you know what sucks? Band practices. They're not good while they're practicing. That's the whole reason there's a practice. Why would you invite your girlfriend to a practice? He probably didn't invite me. I probably found a way to be there. Dina, yes, it's great to send them home. I do the same with my grandkids, yes. I think my parents thought we were gonna grow up on our own. Oh, well, that's nice. I think my mom being a teacher was very useful. I think it helped create more or less, I won't say I'm well-rounded, but I will say I'm at least, I'm borderline functional. It annoys my husband, but it's his fault. He bought them for me. He bought them for you. Well, then he loves you, and too bad that it annoys him. He probably does lots of things that annoy you that you don't even tell him about because you're a mature adult woman who has to just change the toilet paper. Alex actually does that job, but you know what I mean. Did I miss anything? Oh, I have a yawn. By the way, I was telling you before how I deadheaded all of my plants. I harvested my first harvest of kale and oregano and mint and Swiss chard and collard greens. I gave it all to the chickens, but I did pick like a basket full of those things. Also, my first chamomile bloomed. Hey pals, joining today, late joining today, gonna get my vaccine soon. That's awesome, Melanie. Well done, happy birthday. That's not what I mean. Congratulations, that's what I mean. Just popping in to say hi while you're live. I'll watch the rest later. Sounds good, Melanie. Thanks for stopping in, and good luck today. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and take it easy for the rest of the day, because you earned it, girl! Drums are loud. That's a fact, Norel. That's factual information. Said, oh my god, it only took me 30 minutes, but I finally figured out how to pick up pallet on the damn game. Oh, hey there, Peekaboo. Did you finish pooping? Did you notice that your kitty litter is all the way clean? Hi. Okay, fine. Just go back to sit with Alex. It's fine. I shoveled literally your shit into a bag and then replaced it with lovely smelling sand. But sure. Bye. It's fine. Happy vaccine birthday. Exactly. Happy vaccine birthday. Did you have a reaction to the vaccine? No, honestly, I don't even think I had, like, any reaction at all. Like, I took it easy for the rest of the day and played in the garden, and then the following day I took it easy, and I left my Band-Aid on for 2 days, not because there was any reason, but because I wanted to not bump my arm on stuff, and it would keep, like, a physical thing to remind me that there's something that I wouldn't want to bump. But no, I didn't have, like, a sore arm. I had a sore arm less than what I had with the flu shot in the wintertime. Like, when I had a flu shot in the winter, I was, like, tired the whole day. I slept the whole day when we got home, and the following day it hurt to raise my arm. This was nothing like that. I didn't have any reaction. So no, I was perfectly fine. Very happy about that. That makes me feel better about the second dose, because I was really worried that I was going to get those flu-y symptoms. Really worried is not accurate. I was somewhat nervous about feeling sick. It wasn't going to change it. Like, when I went to the lady, the nurse who was giving my vaccine, I was like, she said, so you're getting Pfizer. And then I was like, is that the good one? And she was like, well, I'm technically not allowed to say anything that is regarding what's good and what's bad, but I will let you know, as a nurse, I got Pfizer. And I was like, thank you very much. So I was nervous in some ways, but I wasn't, like, I said to her, it doesn't matter what your answer is. If you only had the Johnson & Johnson one, I would get that. Like, I'm going to get whatever you have, because I don't want to not be vaccinated anymore. I just want it to be over with. And she was like, that's it. That's a good way to look at it. But I got Pfizered. Is that private information? I hope not. I guess not. What does it matter? Like I said, I would have gotten whichever one that they were giving me, but the one that they gave me was that one. They are all pretty comparable, right? They're all going to prevent you from dying from COVID, so get your vaccines, people! Happy to hear that. Yes, I was happy to hear it too. My little sister said she had, like, fatigue for the following day, and my parents had, like, the flu for, like, a full 24 hours, but no big deal for me. So yay! Hopefully the second shot will be equal. Flu shot wrecks me every year. From what I've heard from people, I'm less worried for this. I think I'm getting Pfizer. Yeah, well, the flu shot, I hadn't gotten the flu shot. I got the flu shot, yeah, this past winter that just happened, the past winter before that, and the past winter before that. But before that, I hadn't gotten the flu shot in like 5 or 6 years. And this winter that just happened, that was the first time I've ever had like that much of a reaction to a flu shot. I've never had it where I've had notable things where I'm like, wow, that is attributed to the fact that I got a flu shot. That's never happened to me, except for this year, where I was like, wow, I feel like garbage. I'm going to sleep. And then I woke up in the morning and I was mostly okay. But yeah, that was the first time that had ever happened to me. So I think I was worrying that that was what was going to happen again, but on like a way worse scale for the COVID vaccine, but it didn't. Alex, did you have any side effects? no, like, pain or, I don't know. Alex has no side effects on his side either. Haven't gotten the flu shot in years, and haven't had the flu in years either. Maya, that's why I hadn't done it before. Like, that's why I wasn't doing it before, but I have, Alex's grandma is, like, almost 100, and my grandpa is, like, almost 90. So for me, it's about making sure that they don't get the flu. I'll be fine if I get the flu, but I also don't want to accidentally kill one of my grandparents, you know? So I'm not, that wasn't, wow, that came out sounding snide. It wasn't meant to sound like a snide comment. It was just a sentence that came out looking that way. But no, the reason that I get the flu shot isn't for me. It's for the people that are around me. Because, like, Alex can't get well, up until now, he couldn't get a flu shot because of his eczema medicine. So I did that too so that he wouldn't get the flu. Because I don't know how well his immune system could handle the flu because of the drugs he was on. So no, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for the senior citizens in my heart. And Alex, the senior citizens in my heart. And Alex. No, you're good. Makes sense. Yeah, well, if it was just about me, I don't think I would bother. Like, if I was living in a vacuum, I don't think I'd get a flu shot because I can handle the flu, but I don't live in a vacuum. And also, now I live in a town full of old people, so I'm not going to be the reason that there's a whole bunch of houses for sale in my town. Sorry, gotta run, but love you all. Sounds good, Birdie. Have a good rest of your day. Norel, I'm 55 years old. The flu shot makes me sick for about 3 weeks. Better to just get the flu, but I rarely get sick. I mean, yeah, if the flu shot makes you that sick, you might have something else going on, because I don't know that that's a normal reaction to the flu. I think getting like a 24-hour mech is normal, but if you're getting sick for 3 weeks, you might have some secondary things you'd want to check out. But I will just keep getting the flu shot now, probably forever, because now everybody who is old that I'm getting the flu shot as a result of is going to stay being old, and also after I don't need to worry about them, there will be babies. So, oh well. I haven't had the flu in a while though, so I guess it's working. Lol, I'm old. Sorry, okay, sounds good. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Yeah, that's not normal at all. Yeah, I don't think so. You could have some other allergy going on or something else. 3 weeks seems excessive for feeling sick. That is longer than what you'd feel sick from the flu, so I don't think it could even be the vaccine, even if it was, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it would be the flu part of the vaccine. It might be some other part that you're having an issue with. That being said, I'm not trying to make anybody feel any kind of way. Please don't come to comment here later with anti-vax things. I'm just... Too late, Alex said. The minute you use the word vaccine, they's coming.
Them 5Gs in my arms.
Them 5Gs in my arms. You've been texting Jeff, Alex?
No, only Bill.
Only Bill? Texting him with your arm?
I feel fine.
Oh, sorry.
I don't need to do anything else. I just think about it.
You don't even need to text anymore? You just think to Bill Gates and then it goes to him?
Yeah.
Oh, God. This is a joke. We're joking. Alex, don't. Or they may have some kind of immune compromise thing going on. Best to check. Yeah, definitely. Hello, Laura. Hello, everyone. I'm late. Hi, Caroline. Good morning. Nice to see you. I'm knitting because I can knit. Oh, nice shirt, Alex. You look pretty.
Thanks.
I love you. Oh, you guys want to hear something that happened? Do you guys want go on? Bill Gates is a scumbag. I mean, let's be honest. If you have $1 billion, no matter what you started as, you are a scumbag. If you have earned $1 billion, if there is anyone who's earned $1 billion, they're a scumbag. I think it's 100% of the time, 100% of the time, every time. I think that's the actual stat. 100% of the time, every time, if you have $1 billion, you're a scumbag. I think that's just a fact. Just the way that it is. I'm not saying that they were always a scumbag, but I think for you to get... Alex should mental text him to stop being an ass. Yeah. Boop, boop, beep, boop. Alex keeps making 5G jokes, and I'm like, dude, we live in the country. You can't make jokes like that. Some people here probably believe that. Like, he makes jokes like that at the cash Or at work, he'll be in a meeting and they'll be like, oh, so did you get vaccinated? And he'll be like, yep, I got my 5Gs all loaded up. And like only one person in his work group will laugh. And I'm like, Alex, they don't know if you're serious because you don't talk at work. He's like very quiet. So you don't hoard that much money without doing some effed up stuff. Yeah, and also you can't. Because if you have $1 billion and you know all the things that are going wrong in the world, you know, scary that someone might actually believe that. Well, I've had people argue with me why they're not going to get vaccinated. IRL, like in the lineup at Home Depot. And you're like, oh, I don't know you. Please step away from me. Also, you're not 6 feet away from me and you're talking about why you don't want to be vaccinated. Get out of here. Joking about it with close people is one thing, but don't do it with everyone. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain to Alex. Is it's like, haha, it's funny when you say it to my parents because they are vaccinated and they know you're joking. But if you say it in town, someone might be like, that's the 3rd time I've heard someone say that. Maybe there is something to that. But all 3 times it was Alex at different locations being an idiot. You know. I posted a picture of my Tunisian crochet project on Discord. Let's see if Discord will open now so I can watch that wedding preview. Nope, still downloading updates. Very good. Can't see it right now, V. Billionaires are the ultimate human moral failure. It just doesn't make sense that $1 billion should need to exist in one location. I don't understand. It's not helping people. When people are like, well, he's donating a lot of his wealth. I'm like, he's not, though. Like, oh, before he dies, he wants to donate 75% of his wealth. He'll still have billions of dollars after doing that, and he'll be dead? I'm confused as to how that makes any sense. Also, the idea that you can hand down your $1 billion to your kid and they can hand down your $1 billion to their kid and they can hand down your $1 billion to their kid and now they have $8 billion because they left it in the bank for 3 generations. They have more money than ever because they didn't spend money. I don't know, it just feels evil. Alex is going to be the vector for a wave of accidental anti-vaxxing. No. Like, I mean, honestly, that is exactly how QAnon got started. 4chan idiots trolling. Oh no. Okay, well, I'll tell Alex not to make the joke in public, and I'll tell it with a serious face. What are you knitting? I am knitting a rectangle. So far, so good. It is currently a rectangle. Oh, my back. Ugh, yeah, well, for those of you that aren't sure, and you're watching this being like, maybe Alex is telling me a secret message. No, Alex is vaccinated. Alex believes in medicine. Alex believes in science. Alex thinks it's funny to make fun of people who don't, but the problem is he's so good at making fun of them that he just says, yep, I got my 5G, and he doesn't have any intonation in his voice that lets you know it's a joke, so you have to know him. Risky. One thing this situation has made me realize, a lot of people don't believe in basic logic and are incapable of following simple rules. I think there's another thing that it made me realize, and that's that people are very selfish. And I'm not calling out any individual type of person. Some people can't get vaccinated. Some people are really scared to get vaccinated, whatever. But there's this large group of people that say, I won't die from COVID, so I won't get vaccinated. And that's so selfish. And it's like, and then you say like, but it's not about you not getting sick. It's about you not accidentally transmitting it to someone who will transmit it to someone who will die. Like, that's why you're getting vaccinated, is so that your friend's neighbor's grandmother doesn't get sick because of you. It's not because you're not going to be okay. You're probably going to be fine. Most people who get it are probably going to be fine. The reason we're getting vaccinated is because 1% of people aren't going to be fine. And if we were all vaccinated, they don't need to die. And it just makes me feel so confused that there's so many people who, when you find out, like, the actual reason they're not getting vaccinated, it's because they don't think they will die from COVID. And I'm like, you weren't. I didn't get vaccinated to keep myself safe. I'll be fine. It's like, it'll probably manifest as a bad flu for me. That's not why I did it. It wouldn't manifest as a bad flu for my grandpa, or for Alex's grandma, or for my grandpa's PSW's child, or, you know what I mean? Like, or for all these, it's just the world is not a vacuum. Yes, if I literally never left my house, I'd probably still get vaccinated so I wouldn't be scared. But like, in general, like, if I lived in a vacuum, okay, fine, I understand that argument, but that argument is being made in a vacuum, and the world is not a vacuum. And then people being like, oh, having a passport for your vaccine status is abuse of power. And it's like, yeah, but if they don't have a passport for the vaccine, a whole bunch of idiots are going to lie about being vaccinated and start another wave. Like, I don't know. I just think that this pandemic has showed a lot how people are always looking out for number one to a detrimental amount. Like, you don't know that you're going to be fine from it. You think you will because you're, like, middle-aged and healthy. But, like, you don't know. You're not a doctor. And I don't know. I just feel like, honestly, some people can't get vaccinated. People who are, like, going through chemo can't get vaccinated. There's people who are sick with other things who can't get vaccinated. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's super strange that people have such a strong opinion, like, as if the government is trying to do something with, like, people being, like, saying things like population control. It's like, okay, no, but also, no, it's not. It's just not. I'm sorry, it's just not. And if you're reading stuff that's telling you it is, I don't know what to tell you, but it's just not. Our population control is going to be because of pollution. We're already dealing with that. We don't need to add a vaccine. Like, the amount of carbon in the air, we're not going to be able to have places for more babies at some point because of what humans are doing. Like, we're not hiding that, you know? That's not a hidden problem. The fact that, like, fertility will decline if we're breathing poison, that's not because of a vaccine that's going to happen. It's going to happen because we are unwilling to switch away from fossil fuels. You know what I mean? Like, maybe stop burning coal. And, like, I think we have more to worry about with the amount of nuclear waste that is currently just degrading on the Earth. I feel like the nuclear waste left on the Earth by awful events is worse for the fertility of the world than a vaccine would be. Just saying. That's like living in Tadado Alley and thinking your house will never get destroyed. Where's Tadado Alley? It's really weird to think that a 4chan meme led to an actual insurrection at the US Capitol that people are now trying to deny happened. And people are like, how could anyone deny that the insurrection happened? We saw it on TV. And I'm like, there's people who denied that a lot of really big bad events have happened. So, like, people will really happily deny things. Oh, before I forget, voice chat in the Discord. Oh, Thursday night, 5 p.m., Sid says, to 7 p.m. in the general chat. I will be there. I am a community service and youth worker. There's a lot of fear among the youth of our country. Most won't have the vaccine. Really? Well, I did, so there's that. I honestly might be fine if I get it, but there's still a slim chance I might not be fine. That chance and herd immunity is worth getting it for me. Yeah, the small chance that I won't be fine is not enough for me, but also the very small chance that any one of the people that I love won't be fine is way more than enough. I'm already worried about killing the people I love through my anxiety. Like, just my anxiety and my depression manifest as worrying about the people that I love dying horrifically. It's not healthy, and I do not recommend this style of anxiety, depression to anyone, but the way it manifests for me is that I worry about those I love dying horrifically and how either something that I did was at fault or something that I said wasn't the right thing to say in a moment. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way my anxiety goes. That's the last thing you said to them, and now they're driving away, and now they're gonna die. Like, that's the health of my brain. So for me, just that fear being exacerbated by a pandemic is enough for me to get vaccinated. If they were like, this vaccine is 50% effective, I would still be getting it, because my anxiety would make me feel better. Not trying to be racial here, but the belief mostly was that African people don't get COVID, it's only for Caucasians, which has since been proven wrong, but it was a very frustrating time. I'm a brown person too. Lebo, yeah, that's scary misinformation. It's a virus, it's gonna get anybody and everybody. Tornado Alley, thank you. More reasons to wear masks forever. Yeah, I'm thankful my dad and stepmom had mild cases, although they're still struggling with health. Yeah, well, the family member that I have went back in the hospital, came back out of the hospital, they're okay right now, and it's kind of like, it's just not worth it. Any illness that puts anyone that I care about in danger is not worth avoiding a prick in my arm. Like, what's really the worst that's gonna happen? People are like, you're gonna shed these viral load things or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, I feel okay. Feel fine. Feeling okay. Feel like the doctors and the scientists were like, it's okay. I feel like a nurse put it in my arm. She was very nice. I feel okay about it. I don't have any weird feelings about it. That's insane. The teenagers in my area still believe that. That's sucks, Levo. That's scary and stressful. Literally, the place I want to go to school is a microclimate wetland. Life there for animals and humans is so fickle. That's why I want to learn about it and preserve it. Yeah, it's so, isn't it weird? Like, axolotls can only live in cold, fresh, running water that is got a certain amount of light. Like, yeah, the world is very sensitive. And, like, I don't think we need help screwing it up via medical science. Like, people who are like, they're adding extra stuff to vaccine. I'm like, I don't think they need to. I think the world is already on fire. Please, like the video. Because now the anti-vaxxers are going to come in mass dislike it. Anywho, today is a rainy day. Let's get off the vax talk because as much fun as it is, it gets me really amped, and sometimes that amped excitement shifts to anxiety, and I don't want that today because I had a really anxious day yesterday morning, maybe yesterday lunchtime. I don't know. There was a time yesterday where I was feeling super anxious. I was singing camp songs to Alex. That's literally not how vaccines work. You don't shed virus from vaccines. You only do that when you get infected with a live virus, which vaccines do not use. Yes, it's just this world is on fire. Literally say that more than once a week. Okay, so what am I going to do today? You see how the title of the thing today is maybe I'll get started on my wedding dress? It's because I haven't gotten started about wedding dress. Who wants our rain? Me. Send me the rain. I'm here for the rain. Give me a soaking, soggy, rainy day. I want all the rain today because I want to see what it's going to do to my nasturtiums. I'm actually so excited. I feel like whenever I look at my Alaskan dwarf nasturtiums, I think of you, so just so you know. And I'm so excited to see my nasturtiums take off. I've been really attached to my nasturtiums because they're like the plant that I know that I grew alone from seed. Like, I haven't, some of my zinnias I got from my mom. Like, I planted most of my plants from seed, but some of my zinnias and some of my marigolds my mom gave me, like, as plants. So I don't know which ones are hers. So now all of them are hers in my brain. Whereas my nasturtiums, I know I planted every seed. So every one of the plants that came up, I am the goddess of my world for them in my head, you know? Whereas when I look at like my kale, I'm like, yeah, I planted 300 kale, but I purchased like 8. So therefore none of these were grown by me. All of these were grown in some greenhouse somewhere. They weren't, but my brain can't pick out the ones that were bought at the greenhouse versus the ones that I grew from seed. So therefore I can't claim any of them. Whereas the nasturtium I can fully claim as my own. So I'm very excited to see what the rain's going to do to my nasturtiums. I'm very excited indeed. I love it when the rain stops and everything is clean and the grass smells so good. Oh, and the roads are clean and everything smells like rain. It's good until like a few hours after a rain when all the worms come out and then the ground smells like worms. And then you realize like, oh, worms have a smell. I didn't really know that I wanted to know that worms have a smell. But now that I see all the worms on the road, I know that that's what I'm smelling. Anybody else? Love that too, Nora. What's that? Oh, the smell, yes. I'm also hoping for rain. All our rain buckets are empty. Ooh, rain buckets. I need to put that on Alex's honey-do list, like higher up on the list, because he has a big list of things that he's working through right now. I think I need to add, to make it higher up on the list, is get my rain buckets organized. Put them together. Alex has taken on this very manly man thing right now where, like, obviously Alex is like a big Russian man. Like, he's a manly man, but he's not a dude bro, if you know what I mean. Like, he doesn't build things, and he's not, he wasn't into, like, cars and stuff the same way that, like, the dude bros are. And for some reason this summer, the hobbies he has undertaken are woodworking and cars. So he has been, like, sanding and cutting things out of wood. I don't know what yet, because he's making things. But he's been going to the junkyard like every day or every other day because it's like an outdoor empty junkyard. So he goes there and he like takes apart cars, and he's finding cars that are our car and taking apart the stuff. He's fixing our car piece by piece. And yesterday he replaced the whole trunk, the spoiler, the trunk, the lights, everything. And he got like new fog lights and put them on. He replaced our windshield wipers. Like, he's been just fumbling around with our car, and now he's gotten to know quite a few like mechanical things. And he fixed our ride-on lawnmower, our push lawnmower, and now he's fixing our whippersnipper. What's it called? A weed whacker? Basically, he's like, he decided, I want to know man things. And then he just like did. Like, I was always like, oh gosh, I wish that Alex could do some handyman stuff. He doesn't like to. I fix the toilet. Like, that's my job, is because I know how to pull things apart and put them back together. But no, Alex knows how to pull things apart and put them back together really well. He's just only ever done it inside of a computer. Now he's doing it in a physical world. So I go out and the driveway has like nuts and bolts lined up, and he knows where they go. I'm like the person who just like pulls everything out and then hopes that I can remember where they go. Never will. But yeah, I love it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it for him because he's having a hobby, which is great. I'm loving it for me because he's fixing my car and all of the tools. And also I'm loving it for him because he's feeling like manly and masculine and handyman, and that's great for him. And like, because he's a software guy, you know what I mean? So even though he's like a 200-pound Russian man, he is not what's the word I'm looking for? He's not exuberantly, there's a word I'm looking for. He's not outwardly trying to look sweaty and dirty and fix things. You know what I mean? Like, he's not under a car as his main fix things attitude. He's in a computer. Lol, I'm a dude bro. Well, I'm the dude bro in our relationship in comparison to Alex, because I am like, I understand the angles of like woodworking things. Alex is learning them. But of course, Alex had to be extra. So instead of just learning how, like I said, make me a birdhouse. That's what I want. I want a birdhouse. So that's what he's learning to make. Instead of just like nailing together 5 pieces of wood, which is what I wanted a cube with a roof. He's learning Japanese woodworking. So he's doing everything with dovetail joins. So my birdhouse has no nails in it. It's like, he had to take it his own way. I'm happy he's having fun, but also, there we go. There's even when being a dude bro, Alex can't be a dude bro. Like, I'm like, could you learn how to do some gardening things so that you can trim our hedges? And he's like, I will learn bonsai. I'm like, okay. Can you learn how to build a birdhouse? Because we need a few birdhouses in our backyard because we removed branches from trees. I will learn Japanese woodworking. Okay, Alex. I need an oscillating sander. No, Alex, we have sandpaper and you have elbow grease. You'll be fine. Where is the elbow grease? No, Alex, that's a turn of phrase. It just means put your back into it. Into sanding. No, literally be very gentle, but do it for a long time. That's what elbow grease is. That's Alex. That's me having a conversation with Alex. Nope, we have sandpaper here, Alex. Just some sandpaper and elbow grease is all that you need. Literally, okay, where's the elbow grease? That was a real thing that happened. I love him so much. He's so silly. I went to Fundy, the largest tides in the world. The Bay of Fundy, been there, done that, love it. Walked right out to the Cape in Rage on the beach. It's called that for a reason. I guess the wind was like 100 kilometers an hour. That's cool. We have a saltwater pool. It's great when it rains. It fills the pool for free. That is nice, Norel. When did you go to Fundy? Ola is a strange mix of sporty computer nerd. His hobby is frisbee golf. I feel like frisbee golf is like the nerdiest of sports. It's still sporty. You still have to do sport-related things, but frisbee golf is, right? Like, frisbee golf is probably the nerdiest of sports. That and, like, hacky sack. That's not a sport, though. I think frisbee golf. I love Autistic Convo so much. Aren't they wonderful? I know, I love Alex. He's a sweet and simple man. But he knows what love is! I love you.
I'll you.
I'll you. I would agree with that. Yes, I agree. Ola's a strange mix of computer and nerd. Computer nerd and sporty computer nerd. I mean, like, how many athletic, not nerdy people, like, just, how many football players play frisbee golf? How about we put it there, you know? Well, he did play basketball on the national team as a teenager. Fancy. That's cool. I played basketball on the Saturday team, and my dad was the coach.
I applied. I tried out for rowing once and I didn't get in.
Alex tried out for rowing once and he didn't get in. I tried out for rowing once and I did get in because it wasn't a tryout, it was a join because literally nobody wants to be on the rowing team in high school. You tried in university, didn't you? Yeah, university rowing's different. They care. Then he met me. True love, Frida. True love. Japanese joinery is so cool. It is very cool. I don't know if a birdhouse is done in Japanese joinery typically, but Alex is a Japanese carpenter now. So if any of you need any help with your Japanese carpentry, Alex is now an expert. Not yet, but he will be, because if he's interested in it, he will be an expert. I gotta go. My brain is carrying me off to distraction. Have a good day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, thank you for the reminder, Sid, because you're letting me know that it's after 10, which means it's time for me to go too, because I gotta go feed the chickens. I planted my feather mix morning glory by my trellis along with my nasturtium. V, I planted some morning glories and none of them have come up yet. What does the first leaf look like? Because so far that's a no-go on mine. The birds will appreciate it. I agree. I think that they will appreciate the fact that I'm wanting lots of birdhouses. I want there to be enough spaces that all of the birds that live in the trees can live in the houses instead, because how cute. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. I will see you on Thursday for a stream. So tomorrow, say hi to all the girls for us and the boys. Sid, I will. I'll say hi to all the birds for you guys. And I will see you guys. It's Wednesday. Oh God, the vlog is not done yet. Hopefully you'll see the vlog tomorrow. It's not done, but I'll try and get it done today so that you can see it tomorrow. Patrons, don't forget to check Patreon every day. I'm putting up a bullet journal spread for the rest of May, so definitely check out the Patreon page because there's new bullet journal spreads since the weekend. If you're not on my bullet journal, if you're not on my Patreon, join my Patreon. You get access to my bullet journal spreads. You also get access to the Discord. And I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow for the vlog, Friday for the live stream. Hopefully the vlog will be done tomorrow. Okay, bye. I love you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you to my patrons for supporting me, and have a good day. Wash your hands. Be nice to everybody. Things. Stuff.